Look at that dog. Look at that dog right there. Mm-hmm. Face. Dumb little dog face. All right, here we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome. It's Wednesday night, June 5th. Tomorrow's D-Day. What we got going on? We got Keith Gill still has all of his options. Has not exercised anything. We have the president, the chairman of Apex, saying that E-Trade was really stupid to threaten to close Gill's accounts. He's like, look, Warren Buffett posts his positions, and people buy stocks as a result of that. What Keith Gill is doing is no different, just on a slightly smaller scale. So there's some voice of reason in there, and the cat is already... The minute I close the door, this asshole cat... Come on, dummy, get in here. Come on. There we go. I started the show, you had half an hour to come in here, but no, the minute I close the door. So everything's going according to plan. The stock had some little whoop-de-woos today, and closed just under 32. It's sitting over a little over 32 right now. So my guess is we're going to get a little hedging tomorrow and building up that gamma ramp. I have no idea where it'll close on Friday. They may desperately try to hammer it down, but with that many calls and the money at the moment, they're probably going to have to buy in. There's a lot at really, really high numbers at the moment, because people are just expecting this thing to fly at some point. And GameStop, baby. Let's all enjoy retirement. Right, kitty cat? You bite my leg all you want in retirement. So, it's still light outside. It's June. It's 8 o'clock at night, my time. And it's still light outside. So how about a regular? The cat's staring at the door as if he's offended that it's closed. You yelled to get in here, you little jerk. Okay, turn off the intro, Houston. We've had enough intro mistakes over like the last 2 weeks. It's just been intro. Okay, all the other intros are off. They're off. Okay. Let's get to it. What's on your minds? What's happening? Let's rock and roll. Let's chitty chat. Let's get to it. Bill Coin jumping in here. I have other Bill Coin super chat. If they stop rolling kitty, what do you think regular people like us will do? Revolution? Murder? I mean, if they do something squirrely, U3 Hall, they say that there's like a terrorist attack and they stop the market or whatever. They do something that keeps the millions of us who are in this thing so that it gets short squeezed. There are really, really unhinged people in this movement. You guys know it. I know it. We see them every day where they, they'll message you or post things. You're like, oh, that person's a ticking time bomb. A lot of those folks have nothing left to lose, and I have little doubt in my mind that they will go absolutely rogue. FINRA closed their offices for weeks, scared that people from the MMTLP movement were going to come and murder all of them. That's how terrified they were over their decision to U3 halt. That was 64,000 people. There are millions involved with this one, which puts the odds of freaky weirdos being at a much higher level than there were in MMTLP. And this has been going on longer. They've been percolating on it. They've been expecting this thing to squeeze, and it's about to. I don't think the powers that be want what will happen if they screw that many people over all at once. So it's like, it's just safer to just let this thing blow up and go from there. That's what I'm saying. Like, there are weirdos in this chat I gotta block because I'm like, whoa, you're dangerous. So they know it. They know they're out there. Crayon Green is gifting memberships. Zoob's got one. Barry's Bit, Brian Collins, the Ratster, the Heart, and Jordan Trutman. There's a couple in there. Nice cast there, Crayon Green. Right. Just go straight in. False Flags was here first. Boom. Lexington Productions, Houston. Thoughts on market makers possibly not properly hedging for Ryan Cohen's $20 621 calls. Would they really do that? Do they think they can get out of this? I mean, we haven't seen the buying yet. I don't think we've seen enough buying to hedge for that thing fully. Although there are NCC rules, OCC or NTCC. I can't remember which one, Cat. Might be I think it's Options Clearing Corporation. So I think the OCC has some rules about how much hedging has to be done now for that many shares. So they have to go out there and they have to have like 60% of them right now. I think by next week they should have to have 80%. But I doubt they do. I bet what they're doing is they're using locates to be like, okay, well this account has it, so I'll just pretend I'll just locate it there, and that's probably enough to fulfill that need. But if Gil triggers this thing at any time, my guess is everything goes in the money, because he won't be alone. There are whales all over the options chain, and let's see if we can buy it up during my interview with Gist today with Josh. And here we go. Oh, it's actually giving me the old open interest. So that's great. Okay. So that's this week. So we got a whole bunch at $11. We got next step up is 19. So we got quite a few in the money. I think I counted it up on the Gist, and we were at about 40,000 in the money, with a couple levels to go. I think the next we broke through 31. We broke through the 30 because we were at 29 and change when I was on the Gist. We broke through the 30, so that's 40,000, 57,000, 60,000. So we're at 60,000 in the money right now, which is 6 million shares I got to find Monday. And if this thing pops to 35, that's another almost 20,000. So that'd be close to 8 million shares. And the next huge level is 40. So we could get up to probably about 10 million shares if we can close around 40 on Friday, which is the most that they've had to deal with in a long time. And this is a tiny little weekly chain. So there's a couple of people who have thrown some lotto tickets in there. I mean, there's 4 million shares worth at 128. Good luck. We could have a pop to that level, and my guess is people will exercise at that. They'll probably get cash, wait for it to drop, and then jump back in. But it's it's interesting nonetheless. So, Boris Raspy. Hey Houston, with all the DD and all the new info you have, thoughts on MOASS and Squeeze? How do you think this could play out? I think it could play out fairly similar to January 2021, but imagine they don't turn the buy button off, right? The stock is starting at a much higher price much earlier. The thing that started the sneeze was the gamma squeeze after the yearlies all went in the money. Like every single solitary one went in the money January, was it 20th of 19th, somewhere around there, of 2021. And the next week, that gamma ramp added with the FOMO pushed that thing to $400 and whatever $480 intraday. And that's when they turned off the buy button. This thing's starting at the equivalent of what, $120 back then? And we're still 2 weeks away from when those yearlies trigger, those leaps. So then it was like $45 was enough to do it. And we're at the equivalent of 120 if you don't count the split. So if you rewind back, that's gnarly. And I think people are right. They're saying like, hey, they can't let this thing get above $80 because that probably starts triggering margin calls and possible liquidations. And we bounced off 80 in pre-market and they brought it down really hard. But at some point, There's going to be so many shares they got to find that are legit, that they can deliver on, that the price, I think, will go past that. They'll get the phone calls, the margin phone calls, which means they won't have any ammo to be able to short anymore. Because once you get margin called, you can't make any plays. You got to come up with money or else. So they're not going to let you short anything because you can't borrow anything. So if we can get above 80 for any sustained period of time, that could cause a cascade of margin calls across the market. Last time around, pre-split you'd see it bounce off 350 and they would hammer it down as fast as they could because they knew that if it went above 350, it was like 349.98. They would just hammer it down. So if they let it get higher than that, I think they're all screwed. So they've got to figure out how to keep shares, I don't know, in their quiver that they can use to short with in case it touches 80. So they got to just push that thing back down and bottle it up and pretend like everything's okay. But if we could touch that a couple of times, I think they run out of ammo and we just go for it. So yeah. G-Font 69, nice. GDC 469, nice. Yeah, episode number 469. Anyone 469? And like I said, in productions, June 21st is also Quad Witching Day, with that add to all the craziness that week or nothing burger. It definitely will. I would think Keith Gill's goal is exercise the options on the 21st or right before it, and then that next week the gamma squeeze on Monday just sends it to the moon. That'd be my guess. And so I'm looking to have, I'm playing these weeklies. I've been trading them up and down, trying to gather as many as I can. My goal is to have a whole bunch of options for the 28th. In the end, is that if I can get a whole bunch of 20, like if I can get like 100, within $10 of what the price is on that Friday before for the following week, and then buy as many lotto tickets as I possibly can, then I think that'll be the week that things will go so crazy that, we'll see like crimes committed by as many powerful people at institutions and hedge funds and not clearinghouses and everything else that following week. And, it's going to go nuts. So, that's where we are. Okay. Lots of ways. Great job on the gist today. Do it again. Oh, well, we'll do it again. I love Josh. Just from Dax, if I was DFV, I would start exercising the week of the 17th when the FTDs from the pop in May are due. It would be a double whammy with no escape. That's also very possible. Lots of people are saying things are going to happen on the 11th because he did references to Ferris Bueller's Day Off, to E.T., to Troy, which all happened on June 11th. So, it's very possible that maybe he's going to do 11th. But 11th is also the date of the earnings call. And then the 13th, the shareholder meeting. Man, it's just wild. I'm like vibrating with anticipation right now. I just need one good bounce off of 80, and I think I'll be able to collect enough options for my play. So yes, please short hedge funds. Let it bounce off 80 once, bing bong, and I will have made enough that when you put it back down again, I will get just oodles of options for the 28th, and then I can sit back, relax, watch my Martinelli's chill, scratch my little doggy head, right, and have myself a relaxing next couple of weeks. Yeah. What do you guys say? Relax, relax, relax. Lots of ways. Did Kitty buy more calls today? I don't think Kitty's the one buying the calls at this point. If he does buy calls, I think he can buy 5,500 of them. And I don't think he can buy anymore, because if he buys more than that, he goes over the 5% limit and he has to start reporting. And I don't think he wants to report. So I think other whales are jumping in here, being like, I think this is a play. And they're throwing their money behind it. So he may have bought 5,000. He may reserve himself to buy 5,500 more calls. But if he does more than that, then he's over the 5%. And yeah. So, but there was $3 million in options premiums paid for in like the last 5 minutes of trading today. In the last minute, someone put in two $16 million orders for a couple 100,000 shares in the last minute of trading today. So there's definitely some whales putting their thumbs on the scale to get this thing to finish at certain prices at the end of day. I don't have that kind of money. You don't have that kind of money. Maybe one or two of you do in here. I don't know. But that's a lot. That's a lot to be like, and just purchase 500,000 shares of GameStop. So, good luck to that person. Thank you very much for participating. So yeah. GDC. HW. Can you please do game theory on the political aspects, bank bailouts after MOASS versus government buys shares via eminent domain to stop MOASS? Same outcome, government prints money. My guess is bank bailouts first. Banks have the liability. Once the hedge funds get vaporized, all of those bags go to the banks, and those bags are going to be huge. I was talking with Josh today on the Gist. Like, just Archegos' $800 million family fund produced $26 billion in bags for Credit Suisse, right? And now imagine 4,000, 8,000 hedge funds and family funds that are as big or bigger dumping those same bags onto those same investment banks. It would make the 2008 financial crisis and what happened to AIG's insurance policies look like child's play. I mean, we're talking $7 to $14 trillion in margin, just poof, gone. Those banks don't have that. They have like $1 trillion in assets, but they have $7 trillion in liabilities on just the margin to these hedge funds. So yeah, printing's gonna have to happen. Bailouts are gonna have to happen. You'll probably see the government, step in, maybe take over companies or banks and figure out what to do with them later. Kind of like what they did with the auto industry in 2008, 2009. They took over GM and Chrysler. Like, some of the things that need to happen is, A, they shouldn't allow so much margin. They just shouldn't. Don't allow so much margin. Tamp that down. Or raise the amount of collateral or whatever it is. They also need to, it'll be happening at the same time that the commercial real estate market is going tits up. And, fewer homes sold in May than sold like 50 years ago back in the 70s. And we have twice the population today. So there's weird things going on. And the system itself, I don't think, is prepared for the outcome that we should expect when the MOASS happens. We're just going to have to enjoy our private yachts and island vacations while we watch the world burn and be like, well, glad that wasn't us. Right? Like, we'll be the new power players. That's it. I mean, Keith Gill will be a multi-billionaire when this is all said and done. If the price gets to, $480 like last time, he'll have over $7 billion in value. So he will become not just a whale, but he'll be like a Fortune 100, Fortune 50 person. So that's crazy. That's in 2 trades? That is remarkable. That is absolutely insane. I think the only trade that would be bigger was that person who bought, what was it, like $7,000 of Shiba Inu in December of 2020, and in August of 2021 was worth like $6 billion. That might be the only bigger trade in history. But this is just nuts. LJ, hey Houston, been watching since vid one. Appreciate you. Well, thank you, LJ. I appreciate you too. So it's your first super chat. Lurker, getting in here, getting hot. Woo! Crazy times. Yeah. Okay. We're still like an hour and a half from behind in the chat, so let's get going. How many intros are we getting today? 1. I got them all off. Resonate. Res Winate. Big love, Houston. Citizen 54. Do you think short hedge funds will attempt to push it below 20 just to escape liability for the 621 calls, or are we finally hearing the short hedge fund swan song? Swan song. I mean, they can try, but I think the floor is 30 at the moment. Like they bounce it off like 25.80 or something, but right now the floor feels kind of about 30. I don't see GameStop coming out with anything like, here we're gonna dilute 1 million billion trillion shares. I think they did their dilution. I think what they're going to be posting from this point forward is going to be like awesome sauce. Maybe the earnings call is so dog shit that they it drops like a rock after earnings. So maybe Gil exercises right before the earnings call, and then they can't drop it because then they got T+1 to find 17 million shares. Really up to him. We just sit back and relax. Just bounce this thing off of 80 one time. That's all I'm asking. Just ding dong, and I'll be ready. Brandon Wells. So, Belgian Whale. Sold my calls this morning for about 175% profit. Bought 22.5 puts for the 21st, hoping the price will go down again before then so I can buy new calls. Am I regarded or will I prevail? I mean, they might push it down, but I don't think it'll go down much before the 11th. Or before the 12th, I should say. Like the volatility is so high right now that there's IV crush on those puts. So if it does go down, you might end up with kind of the same amount of money that you put in. Yeah. We'll have to see. 64, Georgia interference case is now in limbo. Espionage Act case, aka documents case, is being sabotaged. Is there any hope left in this so-called judicial system? Can't believe how shit the U.S. system is. Oh, there's plenty of hope in there. Lots going on. John Castro says, shout out to Helen Castro, one of your newest subscribers and best mom in the world. Welcome to the world of GME and HW Mom. Hope you enjoy the show. Yay! Welcome, Helen Castro. Are you the one who got 100 shares today? So John tweeted that out, that his mom called like, I need 100 shares. So welcome aboard, Helen. Helen of Troy. Okay. GDC, is Warren Buffett a good guy, a bad guy, or just sitting this one out to pick up the pieces after? I think due to all the sales he has and the amount of cash he has on hand, that he's sitting this one out waiting for everything to collapse, and then he'll scoop it all up. It's kind of what he does. I mean, you saw Nvidia is over $1,200. It had nothing down today, just steady, up $53 today. All these articles keep coming out that it's a giant fraud scheme similar to Enron, and they're pointing to these companies. I mean, look at Elon. Elon bought a cajillion chips from Nvidia to use for Tesla, and then diverted the chips from Tesla to his new AI company, which should raise all sorts of red flags at the Federal Trade Commission and SEC and stuff, because those companies are not the same company. Like, if you are a restaurateur and you get some investors, you open up a restaurant. The restaurant does well. and you get some more investors, you open a second restaurant, right? Those two restaurants, you are part owner, you might be the executive chef of both of them, but they have different investors. So you cannot like swap things back and forth without there being a sale between them. Cat, knock it off. So like if he's going to move all those chips from Tesla to his AI company and not have the AI company pay Tesla for those chips, he's committing all sorts of fraud. What we have happening with Nvidia is someone will come along and be like, hey, I'm a startup, I'm an AI startup, I'm called CoreWeave or whatever, and how about you invest in us and we'll buy some of your chips? And Nvidia's like, totally, bro. And what they do is Nvidia gives billions of dollars to a company like CoreWeave. CoreWeave takes those billions of dollars, buys billions of dollars of chips from Nvidia. Nvidia sends the chips to CoreWeave. CoreWeave then borrows billions of dollars against those chips as of collateral, and they go buy more chips from Nvidia, who deliver them, and they then borrow against those chips and buy more chips from Nvidia. So the entire time, Nvidia's sales look like they're exploding like crazy. Those chips aren't being used for anything. They're sitting in a warehouse being used like gold bars of collateral, and all that's happening is they're getting older and more obsolete. Or you've got the companies that are doing a similar thing, but then they're selling the chips to China illegally to avoid sanctions because they're based out of like Dubai and they're being run by, I don't know, the Irish cocaine drug lord, people like that. This is exactly what Enron was doing. Enron was funding these little companies who would then buy futures, energy futures from Enron, plunk. Then they would borrow on that energy future, buy more energy from Enron, plunk, and then they would borrow on that, buy more energy futures from Enron, plunk, and then the whole thing came cascading down. Enron was showing just gigantic profits and just huge stuff, but what was happening was they were just in this like self-feeding loop, falsifying sales on these loans and sales on loans and sales on loans, and then not doing anything with it. And what's happening with Nvidia is no different. So Nvidia crashes. Nvidia is the second largest stock in the SPY right now. It is one of the big seven. Its value is like 100 times larger than its sales. It's just freaky. So it's going to come crashing down, and Warren Buffett will scoop it up. He knows it's coming crashing down. He looks at the Buffett index. He says this market is fucked because it's 100% higher than the entire U.S. GDP is the value of the market, and he's like, you can't do that. It just doesn't work. So he's waiting for the correction to come, and he's gonna jump in. He's gonna buy, with his 175 billion in cash that he has. Everything he's getting everything for a discount, and he's gonna be cool. I think that's what he's doing. GDC, I think the Buffett Chubb BBY connection is a nothing burger. I think so too. Buffett bought 6% of Chubb, but not because BBY owed it money. No, that's definitely not why he bought Chubb. Yeah, okay. You really want to get out of here? Don't whine and ask to come back in, you little freak. Man, monkey. Can you believe that, cat? I know, dude. Okay. Macro turf. Houston, quick question. What stops hedge funds to not just double down to infinity within dark pools? If I was able to crime some fake money, I'd just do that forever and go F retail. I'm sure they're trying. I mean, their liabilities have gotten huge since 2021 because that's exactly what they're doing. All they're doing is shorting more over and over and over and over. It's their only play. Our play is buy and hold. Their play is short forever and hope that keeps the price within a certain level so we don't get screamed and yelled at by our prime brokers. I mean, right? Fred Jones, Houston. Do you think that they will run it up at open on Monday and drop it? Or do you think that with earnings and the annual meeting, FOMO is going to kick in and this will not stop? Let's see here. 11th is Tuesday. So it's a Tuesday when they're doing their earnings call. I think they let it run for the most part up until Tuesday at close, and then hope that they can hammer it down, right? Because that's usually what they do. Is that if whatever the earnings is, they beat earnings, they miss earnings, they usually push it down if they can. So maybe they're saving ammo for that. But and then get IV crush everybody on Wednesday. That still gives a week and a half of trading until the 21st for more weird things to happen. So if they do push it down, I don't think they push it down past 20. Unless the earnings are like, yeah, we lost $1 trillion and we haven't had a single customer in months. And the entire board has like sexual assault charges against them. And, you know, they're not going to say stuff like that. They're not going to have earnings like that. So I think the hedge funds are going to try and hope to get everyone's hopes up and then hammer things down after close on Tuesday if they can. That's usually what they do. But the price is so high right now. And there's so much FOMO happening and so much like, you guys are toast. I don't see it going. I don't see them being able to do a very successful job of it. PPARP 04 is here. Woo! Antoine Scott, what's your opinion on Can I Margo that DD about market makers shorting DFE's options play rather than hedging? I have not seen it, so I cannot give an opinion. Someone send it to me. I'll give it a read and then I'll get back to you. Lucas Speed. So much new info, DD, speculation coming out lately. Seems like we're close, and I am more confident and excited than ever. I am the most confident and excited I've been probably since June of 2021. I was on the road. I was giving my first few live streams from various hotel rooms across the American West. And then my truck died. And then I gave a stream from the middle of the desert because for some reason, 100 miles from anybody, I had full 5G. Monkey Butt and I stood in the desert and did a show. But yeah, this is just like, this thing is so coiled right now. And everyone's just like humming with anticipation. Just buzz, you can feel the buzz happening. And there's so much jubilation and joy that it just feels like this is finally it. And yeah. Anonymous, best calls I can get with around 5,000 plus date. What was the BBYQ court doc you posted on Twitter today? The one where I'm giving myself forehead slaps like crazy. Aurora, whatever the name is, like 147 Aurora, whatever. They've been saying, oh, we're going to file this lawsuit in court. And everyone's like, don't do it, you fucking idiot. He's like, no, it's good. We're good. We're going to file this thing in court. And everyone's like, don't do it, you idiot. And so he filed a demand for a jury trial I don't even know what he's really trying to get out of this thing, but it's going to just waste everyone's time. Like this ball is rolling. All we need is a credit bid, dumbass. Like quit trying to insert yourself into these proceedings. All we need is a credit bid. That's it. If we don't get a credit bid, then poof, there it goes. That was the play. But trying to insert yourself into this thing to get some sort of piece of the waterfall, we don't care about the waterfall. The waterfall means absolutely nothing if we don't get equity, right? Because the waterfall could be like, oh, you get a penny a share. Ooh, boy. Yay. Right? I want equity. I want shares. I want equity. Give me my shares back, because getting the shares back forces the shorts to realize that they're screwed and puts them over leverage from the get-go. It could be preceding GameStop, it could be trailing GameStop. Regardless, they're screwed. So I want a credit bid. I want this to be lickety split, jip jop bip bop. And if you're going to be suing for some sort of stupid waterfall to get a penny a share out of this thing, just crawl under a rock and die. Like, just stop slowing this thing down, Neely Doss wannabe. what are you doing? Why are you hiring an attorney to do this? We don't care. We want equity. We want a credit bid. So stop being a wrench in the gears, dude. So frustrating. So frustrating. It's so frustrating, monkey. It's so frustrating. Just like how you're frustrated right now that I'm scratching your head and not letting you sleep. It's so frustrating. Anyway. Ludicrous Speed. Your take on the Chubb 9109 document mentions stalking horse and seems very significant to me. Is it 9109 or is it 9019? Whatever, there's a rule in bankruptcy, and it involves, like, if bankruptcy is about to come to an end, it involves basically like, hey, big change coming. And the rumor is that it is the credit bid, the stalking horse, to take whatever remains of the company, or to declare fraud, or whatever, to reverse the bankruptcy. It's what got filed when Hertz came out of bankruptcy and everyone got cash in equity. So yeah. Cat, quit yelling to come in here. You just yelled to get out. Stop it. Just sitting outside. He just wants to go in and out. That's his game. Just in and out. I have nothing else to do. Woolhead 17th. I don't know what 17th means, but definitely. Forum Border 156. Mr. Wade. What is your take on Gary Gensler and Coke Rat Kramer clip from today? You've seen it. Yeah, I did see it. Josh showed it on the show today, and Kramer's like, "Why aren't you investigating this? This is outrageous that he's posting his position." And Gary Gensler's like, "If there was an investigation, I wouldn't be able to tell you until we were ready to bring it to the court." Like, he's like, whatever. But Kramer, like, look in the mirror, you fucking rat. The man is on video telling people that he takes illegal payments from short sellers to badmouth stocks on his show. That is as much market manipulation as you will ever get anywhere ever, as far as this is concerned. Another eyelash falling into my eye. Oh, I gotcha. Nice. Like Keith Gill posting his position, that's not a crime, dude. It's just like saying, hey, look what I did. I like this stock. And everyone going, you know what? I like this stock too. I'm excited that you have that much of this stock, because that means I'm going to get more of this stock, and we're all going to have this stock together. Other than like, so just sell. Just sell. Do yourself a favor and sell. What? Sell to who? Like, right? Do myself a favor and sell. But sell to whom? To whom will I sell this stock? Who will buy it? It reminds me of that clip of was it Ben Shapiro, and someone's asking him about like sea level rise. Like, well, the people will just sell their homes, and this guy butts in, like, bursts through a wall. It's like, sell their home to who? Ben? Aquaman? Like, if everyone's getting out of this thing because just sell, just get out while I can, who is the counterparty to it? Short hedge funds. That's the only people who would want to buy at a low price, right? So buy and hold, dude. Buy and hold. Kelly Reid, Bank of Canada reduces policy rate by 25 basis points down to 4.75. With oil prices dropping due to low demand, it's going to put a lot of pressure on the Canadian dollar. Yeah, Canada definitely dropped way too early. They need to keep them higher. Well, first of all, they never raised rates as high as they probably should have. And the fact they're dropping now is not the best move. Like, the U.S. government's probably going to raise by a quarter point sometime this summer if we have another month of higher than expected inflation. Probably will. They'll probably be like, look, we'll raise another quarter point. You assholes need to stop, like, buying cars that are in 100-month loans at $1,400 a month. So, yeah. Alex Bishop is here. Cran Green. Now we're good. Jason Blackwell. Hey, Houston. When DFE disclosed his position, it was like he slapped his schlong on the table in a big way. P.S. He created a compression wave that circled the Earth 3 times like Krakatoa. Bong. Earth rang like a bell. Aaron Saltine, GameStop, $108. The charts show as high. If it goes $108, it goes to $400. If it goes to $400, it goes to $1,000. If it goes to $1,000, it goes to $10,000. So that's what's going to happen. Faster. H-dub. Do you think an earlier MOASS will usher in another Trump presidency? Would Biden have to take the blame for the economy tanking versus what happens to either of them politically if this hits June 21st? Honestly, I don't know. Trump has sort of tried to like edge in with the meme stock crowd. The problem is that while he's like having Devin Nunes rail against short shares and naked shorting of DJT, he's going to be having his entire presidential campaign funded by Ken Griffin. So, like, he'd be like, "Oh, Ken Griffin, you're so evil. Thank you for these piles of money so I can run my presidential campaign." That should be seen as like the height of hypocrisy. If Donald Trump was truly a billionaire, he'd tell Ken Griffin to go eat shit. I'll do this myself. I don't need your help, guy who's shorting my company. But he won't. He won't do that because he's not actually a billionaire. He doesn't have the liquidity. He owes way too much money to E. Jean Carroll in the state of New York. What he needs is his company to, the value of his company to squeeze the moment he's allowed to sell his shares, and then he will ditch all of every other shareholder and be like, I don't care anymore. Yeah, Biden hasn't done anything. Like, the SEC has passed a couple of good rules, but not enough of the rules to truly take this thing into orbit. The Republican House today voted to basically cut the SEC's budget into gut funding for the CAT system. So that's what the MAGA crowd Republicans are doing in the House. They're basically making it so it's easier for these hedge funds to short illegally than it is to like regulate them. I think Democrats would be wise to jump in on the side of retail investors. It's a no-brainer. Everyone has to have a 401k, an IRA, investments in order to retire in this country because pensions just don't exist for most of the people anymore. And if they were to be like, hey, let's try to make a more fair market, that would be some of the best advertising they could do, because there is not a single person who's like, yeah, I don't like a fair market. Fuck you. Right? Like, how dare you ensure that my investment in retirement doesn't implode, so I'm eating cat food when I'm 70 years old. It just seems like a no-brainer to me, and I don't understand. Like, you have a few people on the Republican side. You got Northam like embracing MMTLP. My guess is that McCabe is probably throwing some money behind him to get him to do that, and maybe a couple others. But truly, in the end, this true market reform, creating a more equitable and fair market, is one of the only bipartisan issues that exists. About half the Democrats are behind it, and about half the Republicans are behind it. And the other two are behind the Wall Street lobbyists who fund their campaigns and do their inside trading. And they don't want rules against this stuff. They don't want to make it so that members of Congress can't trade stock, because they're in it to make this money, man. And it's a real neck and neck. It's about 50-50 across the board there. So where things take everything politically, if this thing hits the fan, the president who's in office will get blamed for it if the majority of the country is suffering. That's true. So Biden would take the blame probably, unless he smartly has some sort of plan to make sure that everyone doesn't suffer from it. That maybe just the banks suffer. Maybe they do it like Iceland. I don't know. It's really hard to figure out. Best of the rest, after MOASS, I'm going to buy 10% of my greenback into GME for Infinity Holding. Why not? I mean, I think GME is ultimately going to become a holding company a la Berkshire Hathaway. And it'll be one of those things like, this stock is worth $700,000 and I bought it for $10. So, yeah, why not? Stephanie L. Yo, what's up, Houston? You were in my dream the other night. Ooh, huh. Totally G-rated. Aw. I was begging you to teach me how to buy calls. What does max pain mean? Max pain is where puts and calls cross so that the most of both don't go in the money. We'll show the graph here. Let's see here. GME max pain. Options max pain calculations for GME. Okay, I'll give us a little graph here. So right now, we have an absolute crazy number of calls at various levels. And max pain sits about here. What price? Do you not have a price there? So, yeah, your puts on one side, your calls on the other. Sorry, puts on one side, calls on the other. And max pain sits at what price? Your graph is terrible. Max pain $527. Doesn't make any sense, dude. 520. Maybe we'll find a different graph that has an actual legit number. That. How about this one? There we go. Okay. So max pain is about $25 is max pain, and we're sitting at 32. So we're $7 over max pain. And you can see that the call options just jump big, way far out. And there's a lot of money involved in these suckers. So not very many people have bought puts because they don't think it's going to go down. But a lot more calls because people know that this is going to go off. So max pain is that point between call puts and strikes where market makers make money. Because think about like, people paid premiums to buy this, right? And people paid premiums to buy this. So if these both sides close out of the money, then they make profit off of all of these premiums. All of these premiums, they make money. So that's why they want to finish at max pain, because it hurts everyone who bought options and helps the options writers. But we're currently above max pain. What, a couple $100 million there. So there's a good chance this thing could push higher. I mean, if it pushes to $80, max pains would cause $6 billion in stock purchases to happen. So that's cool. And they wouldn't make very much money off of that. They'd be hurting for a squirting. Okay. I had a dream last night about Chupa Batman. We were hanging out at this house. It's kind of derelict, like abandoned house, but Chupa Batman are like, oh, we're cool. We're going to investigate this place. And then Chupa Batman comes around a corner, like, and greets me. He's like, hey, I found this kitten. I'm like, oh, it's a little kitten buddy. I guess we have a little kitten buddy. And then like 25 more kittens showed up. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to go on Facebook and figure out how to like get rid of all these kittens. And that was the entire dream, was me trying to find people to take like 20 kittens off of me. Please just adopt them. I cannot have this many kittens. That's about as anxious as my dreams get. Kevin Moran, happy birthday, Ethan. Bring on some BBBY or Toys R Us cash before the end of the month. Yeah, apparently Toys RF is changing the Toy DB. Toys RF is the Australian Anzac, Toys R Us. They bought Riot something or other, and did a 10-to-1 reverse split. So I bought like 5,000 shares for about $100, and I forgot I had purchased it. I was like, yeah, I'll throw $100 at this and whatever. And then a couple weeks ago, I like opened my account and was like, when did I buy Toys R Us? I don't even remember when it was. Whenever. should probably look at my statement, figure out when it was. I was like, just throw $100 at it. And I had 5,000 something shares. Now I have 580 or something. But apparently it's being held for a merger, but it's maybe not the Riot merger. It might be with someone else. And then there was stuff floating around that it might be shares plus $8 per share, which would be, I'll take almost $5,000 for that. Cool. Sign me up. I'll buy some options with that. Monkey butt. Yeah. You buy some options with it? You will. She's like, quit waking me up, you jerk. I'm having a nice sleep. But yeah. And then BBBY, who knows? Who knows, man? Things are happening with that. Rose Productions. I have 8 GME calls. Can't afford new ones. I pivoted to IEP calls. IEP was attacked, so you think GME exploding means other squeezes can be suppressed by the government. I think IEP moons. It might. Someone had $25 IEP calls, and they basically doubled today. And like, wow, cool. And the stock price didn't do much, which means ICANN's doing something behind the scenes to cause implied volatility to go up. Brad B. Happy birthday, Ethan. Do you know why the options makers need to go to the open market for shares when calls are exercised? Why can't they deliver fake shares like everyone else? Well, because the OCC is requiring them to deliver real shares. They need to buy enough shares to have in their accounts in order to hedge for the call options that are in the money. They may be skirting those rules because there might not be anybody looking at them to make sure they're obeying them enough. But what I think they were doing in 2021 was they would sell naked options. When the time came that the options on the money, they would buy from Citadel fake shares. Citadel would have purchased a whole bunch of dupes, like puts that are so far out of the money that they'll never trigger, and then use those as locates themselves, and then sell the fake shares to the options writers who would deliver them to everybody, and then everything get packaged up into some sort of bullet swap and then sent away. That's kind of the feeling I got that they were doing for a long time. And then the DTCC made their subsidiaries sort of change how a lot of that is done. And I think for the most part, they got to deliver the real deal, which is why when a whole bunch of options go in the money, that following Monday, we see insane volume, right? Like a couple weeks ago when 8 million shares went in the money, we saw 175 million shares trade. And the reason why 175 million shares are trading is because of all this payment for order flow and high frequency trading. That each share that's needed to be accumulated like passes through like 8 or 9 middlemen, 10 middlemen, 12 middlemen, and 20 middlemen, who knows. And everyone shaves off their like 10th of a penny off every single one of those things before it finally ends up in the account of the person who exercised those options. It's the dumbest system in the entire world. Like, why does the market have so many middlemen when with technology you don't need any? That's my biggest question. Like, we could do all of this without, physical exchanges, without multiple exchanges, without, market makers. Like, there's a market. You do not need a market maker. Market makers do not serve a purpose. They don't. They're a useless middleman. Like, oh, we need some liquidity. Well, if you need liquidity, then you're going to pay for it, right? Like, you need shares. Oh, raise your ask price and you'll get the shares. That's how supply and demand works. Not, oh, the market maker is just going to present shares out of nowhere and then go find them later. That's pointless. It should be supply and demand is the purpose of the entire basis of our economy, of all economies. And why do we remove that from the one thing that is like should be the most market-driven force in the entire world. You know, there's only 21 million Bitcoin in existence. There'll never be any more than that. So Bitcoin's at $70,000 because people are like, oh, it's rare. Okay. There's only 351 million GameStop. Why isn't GameStop, $10,000? Like, or 15,000. Why is GameStop not $10,000? Because it's a rare commodity as well, a rare security. And it has an incredible amount of demand because of the market makers that don't need to exist, that are just making shit up as they go along and saying it to everybody. It's crazy. Like, Bitcoin doesn't have profit behind it. There's no dividend. There's no they don't own property. They don't sell things. They don't produce anything. And just have a bunch of computers go brrr all day long and then just produce some ones and zeros. Whereas GameStop is a company. There's tens of thousands of employees. They own things. They sell things. They make things, right? And it's mathematically it's what, 15 times less rare than Bitcoin. It is tangible. Like, it gives you ownership in an actual company. It's weird to me. But market makers fuck all that up. Killer Reed, happy birthday, HW. Citadel and BlackRock making their own stock exchange do a threat to and New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ. If you don't let me cheat in your house, I'll build my own. Pretty much. I mean, they're going to build a stock market in Dallas, Texas. And I joked with Josh earlier that's because Texas will secede again. And they'll have to have their own international exchange. But like, they're going to try and get blue chips to come over to their exchange. And BlackRock can put their thumb on a lot of things because they own 7 to 9% of every single solitary company in existence. And it's going to be a competer for blue chips for NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange. But as someone put in that chat, like, what makes them think that they're going to that Citadel is still going to be around in 2025, which is true. And the SEC should look at it and be like, I don't think a market maker should be allowed to own exchange. Citadel tried to become an investment bank. They did. A few years ago, they tried to become an investment bank, and the FDIC and SEC are like, no, you are too irresponsible to become an investment bank. We don't like that at all. And it's like, fine, I'll stay a market maker. But they still have been like trying to try their hand at the investment bank thing, sort of like a shadow investment bank this entire time. So now they're going to try and become like a major exchange. And while being a market maker, while being a short hedge fund, a giant short hedge fund, it's just too much. It's too much, Ken Griffin. Just, go spend time with your Mayo and bedposts and your giant mother's house on Star Island in Miami, and just stop being such a horrible shit, you psychopath. J. King, Houston. I've been watching faithfully, but guilty of being a lurker. Recovering from spinal surgery. What's going on with China claiming to cure diabetes? Is that a problem for no labs? What they can cure, I think, is type 2 diabetes. I read the paper, and how it works did not stick in my head at all, so I cannot, at this point, relay it to you. But they have some sort of medication that regulates how sugar is processed and allows you to like lose weight and metabolize that sugar without your pancreas being able to produce insulin. And eventually, I guess after 2 years of treatments, the people didn't have diabetes anymore, which is fantastic. But it wasn't for type 1 diabetes. I think it worked for type 2. And so, no labs will still have a market for those type 1 diabetes people, because that stuff is like literally in their genome and not in their lifestyle, like type 2 usually is. So I mean, good for humanity. But there'll still be a market for no labs. No, I do think no labs needs to get that approval, because if Ozempic is as ubiquitous as it will probably become in the next decade, there might not be anybody who's type 2 diabetic, and you'll have only the type 1s out there. I'll be curious. Frozen State Productions. What does Gensler do with Congressman Norman's letter with the June response date? Fall back on we're investigating situation excuse and provide nothing as usual? Yep. What Norman needs is he needs the committee, which McHenry's in charge of. He's a clown paid for by Ken Griffin. But they need the committee itself to demand the information, because under the SEC rules, Gensler has to produce it even if it's under investigation. That's part of the creation of the SEC, is that when Congress asks for stuff, Gensler is required by law to provide it to them. So they need like an official subpoena of the SEC to get that stuff, I think, at this point. Because what will happen is they'll bring him in front of the committee again. Norman will ask a question, and Gensler will be like, I've heard of MMTOP. I'm not too familiar with it. I don't know. I really can't tell you about that. And he knows full well what the fuck is going on. He does. He knows. He's read everything. He knows. He's just biding time. Matthew Jackson, have you ever heard of the Sedgley gun glove? No. Sedgley gun glove. Sedgley gun glove. Oh, look at that. It's a spy glove. It's got a little gun on it. So it's a glove with a gun on it. Well, there you go. So I guess you make a fist and it shoots kind of like Spider-Man webs. So I get, it's Inglourious Bastards. It was, yeah, okay. So, boom. Oh, I guess you punch them and that's the trigger. So if you punch someone in the face, it's the trigger and it goes off. I get it. So that's the pressure plate right there. Goes shibink and then shoots him in the head. And that's kind of cool. So that's one way for a knockout. Looks like people have built some. Huh, well, there you go. Interesting. Now I have heard of the Sedgley gun glove. Luis Gonzalez, Houston. You posted something related to the glitch price at 28 million. Could you explain that price calculation? I kept staring at the attached image and couldn't see where it said that. Well, they said the price was $28, but then said the market cap was like 9 trillion or whatever. And if you divide the number of shares by what they said the market cap was, then that's how you got the 28 million. It's a glitch. The glitch better have my money. Mandy McLaughlin. Good timing, Houston. Just got done with dinner and I finally get to catch the live show. Welcome. Matthew Jackson. Is it better to have 28 calls if price runs up to the 21st? The following week should see even more action. That's my guess. That's what I was saying earlier. Is my goal is to have as many calls as possible for the 28th. Because I think the 28th is when things go knucking futs. And so, and if it goes crazy before then, I have them, right? Thomas George. Yeah, hey, Houston, happy birthday. Just want to say thanks. Would have lost faith and sold my shares if I didn't have your streams. Feel like you've been with me through the ups and downs. Well, thank you, Thomas George. Glad you're here. Glad you got your shares. Glad you're ready for the craziness that's coming over the next couple of weeks. Moon's here. Mr. Monaco says beans. McDougal and the Black Sheep. Happy birthday, Houston. Have you ever heard of the Great Loop? Retirement MOASS goals for sure. The Great Loop. Cat, quit yelling at me. The Great Loop is a continuous waterway that recreational mariners can travel that includes parts of the Atlantic, Gulf, Intercoastal. Oh, okay. Yeah. So here You can go across Florida. You can go through the Gulf of Mexico. You can go up the Mississippi or whatever river that is. You can do the Chicago River to Lake Michigan and out through the Erie Canal or the St. Lawrence Seaway, and then back down the coast again. So I guess that's the Great Loop. Cool. So what my brother did, when he kayaked across the U.S., we can bring up ye old Google Earth here for that. He did the Great Line across the United States. So he started in New York Harbor. He started at the Statue of Liberty, and so he's started at Statue of Liberty and worked his way up the Hudson River, kayaked. And he was a big, like 16-foot sea kayak. He kayaked all the way up the Hudson River, all the way up to the Erie Canal, which was it start in Albany? Somewhere along there. Erie Canal shoots across, dumps you into Lake Ontario. Kayak through Lake Ontario. You kayak all the way through here, and you get into Lake Erie, and then you go to the Cuyahoga River, which cuts all the way across Ohio, and then you end up in the Ohio River, and then you take the Ohio River down all the way to the Mississippi, and you take the Mississippi down to the Missouri, and you take the Missouri all the way, Ohio River down Mississippi, up to the Mississippi, up to the Missouri River, then the Missouri River across, and it goes all the way up here, ends up in the Yellowstone River, and then you get the Yellowstone River, and then you hit the Continental Divide somewhere around Meow. You have to hike over the Continental Divide. So he like built this little wheel cart thing for his kayak, and he like drug it up over the Continental Divide, and then he got into the Snake River, took the Snake River to the Columbia River, and the Columbia River on out to the ocean. And then we met him and had a party and dinner in Astoria, some pier here in Astoria. He came and we had dinner there. So it took him like 7 months. He had like withered little legs and gigantic triceps when he was done. But yeah, and then he did the Class 6 rapids through Hell's Canyon here. This Hell's Canyon? I believe it's Hell's Canyon. Yeah. There's like gnarly ass like waterfalls, and you can see right here. What's this one? This is have a name? That's not a very big rapid. There's some big ones in there. Yeah. The Great Loop. Do it. Do the Great Loop. Souljoe's here. Thomas Dubois, 34 and 5/8. Wait, is that what the price is right now? That's just 32.05. We haven't opened in Germany yet. Germany opens in what, an hour? 2 hours? I don't think I'll be awake. I feel my steam running loose. I've been waking up in the mornings a lot recently, and I'm not a morning person. I'm an astronomer. Green Crayon says, LFG. Lenny G. Clinton, Houston, question. I have a very safe, I think, bull run strategy, but I'm left with a big question mark about earnings. They're usually duds. Any gauge on what might happen in regards to price? Probably says price action. You're trying to say? I don't think it printed all of what you wanted there. I think it goes up to the point where the earnings call happens. So I'm counting on that. I might get out at that point and see what happens after it. Or maybe sell half and then wait. Or just buy a whole bunch of far out of the monies or something and see what happens. And then if nothing happens, then, I can still hold on to them. Right. I don't know. I don't know exactly what will happen, Lenny. I have to figure out my own personal thing, and maybe I will know that by Monday or Tuesday. Bears Bit, Jimmy, exciting times. Looking amazingly strong chart. 40 more, 50 over the next few days, hopefully. Cross them fingers, stroke them chins. Knight's Gambit, Houston question. How can DFE afford to exercise all the options? I think DFE has a lot of money. I think he's got just a ridiculous amount of money. The short sellers keep coming on. They're like, how could he possibly do that? I mean, where's the money coming from? It's like they have like a baby's understanding of object permanence. It's like a game of peekaboo with them. They seem to think that since Keith Gill disappeared from the public mind, that he just went into stasis for 3 years and emerged with the exact same holdings he had 3 years ago. But if he was selling covered calls, he was probably making on average about $3 million a week for the last 3 years doing covered calls, which nets him 200 and something million dollars, right? Plus, he's probably doing his own options plays, probably investing in other things, AI, Nvidia, who knows, right? So he has the opportunity to make a whole bunch more money over this period of time. Then he is very likely the guy that was behind the May 17th $12 calls. Some whale back at the end of April spent $1 million, but these $12 calls that were like $1 out of the money, $2 out of the money at the time, at 22,000 of them. And at one point last month, when the stock price was at $60, $80, he made like $150 million off of that options play. So he's got, $200-300 million in cash if he did those two things. He could easily exercise those options. And even then you can still exercise your options, exercise to close, and have, if the price goes to $400 a share, like it did in 2021, he could exercise that thing and end up with 97% of those shares and have to sell 3% of them. So he would still end up with almost 17 million shares in the end. So it can be done. The hedge fund people are just trying to like put some FUD out there, like, oh, he won't exercise. Why would he exercise? And he's got cash and he's got options. He's got options on his options. That's what he's got. He's gonna be fine. Justin Kappa TV Houston, can you give us potential price brackets based on volume and math? Thanks you. No. 2021, when there was under 70 million shares, total shares outstanding, we saw on some days like a billion share volume, right? And the stock price, let's look at it actually, because so I have an idea. GME price January 2021. Let's get that GameStop price. StatMuse, is this what we want? Yeah. Okay. So here is the month of January. Oops, that is Google Earth. Here is the month of January, right? Look at the volumes on these things. 200 million, 230 million, 370 million, 700 million, 700 million, 788 million, 200 million, 130 million, 300 million, 187 million, 374, 570 million. And then it started out small. It started out, 40 million, 19 million, whatever. And then all of a sudden, January 13th, 578 million shares traded. The price didn't go up that high. It opened at $5, made it to a high of 966 and closed at 785, right? And the next day it happened, next day it happened, next day it happened, next day it happened. Remember this, you have to multiply this sucker by 4 because this is post split-end price. But during the peak, during that 22nd, 25th, 26th, and 27th, 28th, like billions of shares traded, 788 million, 711 million, 714, and we saw the high get up to $120, which is 480, over 480. It's bonkers. just bonkers. It's bonkers. And these volumes are nuts. This is when the stock had 1/4, actually less than 1/4 of the total shares outstanding. So my guess is we see volumes 2 or 3 billion shares a day when this type of stuff is happening and the prices are flying. Right now, I think we maxed out at what, 250? Do GME price May 2024. Get stat news in here. Here we go. All right. So our volumes are 200 million May 14th. Okay. Cool. 105 million on the 28th. All right. So we've had a couple hundred million. We've had swings that are pretty darn close to what we were seeing back then, with more than 4 times the total shares outstanding. So when this thing actually goes truly bonkers, these volumes are going to be, I don't know, billions. And I don't necessarily know, like with the dark pools, I don't know how many of those trades are actually to close positions out or just middlemen peeling their arbitrage off on the way through. That's going to get really hard to gauge. And when MOASS actually hits, those middlemen may not exist. It may just be a straight trading computer buying anything that's available and then scooping it up instantaneously for closing out positions. So the volume numbers may look really weird as a result, because there won't be, like, the price gets to $1,000 a share. You and I aren't buying shares; we're holding. Like, we won't have any ammo to buy a share at $1,000. The day traders won't be buying shares at $1,000. The only people who are buying shares at $1,000 are going to be trading computers who are liquidating hedge funds at that point. So the volume numbers by that point may suddenly shrink, but the price may still be going up because the middlemen will be out, the hedge funds will be out, the market makers will be out. There'll be no one available to peel that arbitrage off of every single share as it passes through, because it's just going to be straight trading computers buying anything that's available instantaneously and then deleting that share from existence the moment they have it. That's pretty much how I see it happening. So no, I can't tell you how that's going to work out volume wise to price wise. I just can't, because like today we see what volume does today with all these middlemen getting their fingers on it for each trade. But with them not existing, I can't even see. It's up in the clouds. I don't even know where it ends. That asymptotic graph. Robert Armstrong, hello from Northern Ontario. Hello. Steven's here. Hey, I'm fine at the beginning of the show. It's 8 p.m. and I'm an hour and 18 minutes behind. Brian Collins, that chicken katsu with monkey looks delicious. Seattle does teriyaki and teriyaki equivalents. Right. I'm still tasting it. It's delicious. Monkey and I get chicken katsu about once a week. Right, don't we? Yeah. Corporate Wallet, did you see the interesting RC post today? Is he DFV? No, RC is not DFV. But I did not see it. Let's see what... Oops, I can't spell Cohen apparently. There was no Ryan Cohen post today. His last post was April 15th. So no, I did not see it, because I don't see one. Talking about RC Corey? That one? RC... That's a Rye? Oops. Rye? I can't remember exactly what his thing is. RC. I don't know. I can't remember what the handle exactly. It's Rye something or other. That one? I don't. He posts stuff all the time, and I have no idea what any of it means. John Castronet's cut and shave. Yeah, after mowing the lawn and doing a whole bunch of yard work and throwing the baseball and walking like I was all sweaty and gross. I was like, I'm just My face is very warm. My head's very warm. So I cut my hair and took a shower before the show. Rizio, plop. Do you think the system will kill the squeeze when we start to lift off? Something tells me we're gonna get effed over our tendies again. It could, which is why I'm hedging with options. That's entire, like, I've got my shares. If this thing moons, I know I can retire from those shares. But if they stop the mooning, I've got my second play, which is a absolute boatload of options, or I hope to a boatload of options, and that when it gets to the point where they might shut everything off, I can just sell those options, and I've got my nest egg. And then, you know, if it keeps going from there, then I got my shares and we're good to go. If the government shuts everything down and like tears us apart or whatever, then at least I got my nut. And so that's why I'm focusing so much on day trading these options, trying to work my way up to get at least 100 of them at a pretty decent price, and then maybe whatever I got left, buy a whole bunch of lotto tickets just in case. But if we can bounce off $80 once, I'd probably make 60K. It comes back down. That would get me at least 100 at a reasonable price, like $40. And then I could probably buy 500 or more at a big honking lotto ticket price. And that'd be pretty comfy. You'd be comfortable with that, monkey butt. You know that? You know that, you little dog? You know that? You know that? Oh, I know, it's a rough day. Rough day. A lot of standing in the yard today. Just a lot. Well, I dropped the cat. I think I dropped the catnip again. I did. Catnip on the ground. Get them drugs. Back up there and stay. Okay. Now you ready? Are you ready? You want a couple stinky beeps? Yeah, 1, 2. I know, I got a lot of treats today. You treaty little dog, you. You want to come over here? You come right there. You want to get it? Oh, look at you. So desperate. So demanding. He just drooled all over me. Oh my gosh. Dude. Oh, the drool. It's everywhere. It's on my shirt. It's on my arm. My God, dog. How did you instantaneously produce that much drool? Yeah, there you go. Ugh. It's like in the pocket of my pants. How did you do that? It's on my leg. Oh, all right. There you go. That's it. That's all you get. You can be happy now. Like that tail. Mike Forshus in shade looks like a young child. I am but a little boy. Clean shave, not really clean shaven. I've got stubble still. I never clean shave because that's annoying. I just put my razor in the lowest setting and go ramp with that. Then I start fresh again. I clean shave November 1st. That's the only day of the year I clean shave. Haircut Houston. Zima go to the nub. Are the offered shares being held in reserve as a final hammer down? Do they need those to either buy shares for the ETFs, shares to short, or shares to roll the swaps? Where are the offered shares if not DRS? The offered shares are in the market. They sold them all. They announced that they sold them all. So they sold everything, all 45 million over the course of 10 days. So yeah. So I have no idea if people DRS them or not, but they are sold. Belgian whale, MOASS for 14th, so I don't have to go back home. Wait, why is I missed chat? Oh, no, I didn't miss a chat, but for some reason there's a chat up there that won't go away. Low B gifted 10 Houston Wave memberships. Danker, elegantly wasted. MM, Chan Chan, Guts for the long term. Buck Dot, Christy Adamson, GZJ Mantan. All got memberships. That's a good one. They got a couple of theirs and a couple of old names we all recognize. Will B. Houston, fancy new haircut and shave for Milkshake Girl. Oh man, if Milkshake Girl would have me, I would be on cloud nine. Do you guys see the Smoke Show who nailed Nigel Farage with a banana milkshake yesterday? Just a straight up babe, and she was just like hit him with the milkshake. Turned around, she's like da, 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 just walked away, and like the crowd was like, yes, they were into it. I like the fact that everyone was like, that was cool. Hot babe just nailed Nigel Farage with a banana milkshake. If you guys don't know who Nigel Farage is, he's a British dude who's a straight up Nazi. That's who he is. So he should be hit with milkshakes constantly because, you know, that's what you got to do with Nazis. Alex Bishop, look at this distinguished gentleman. Belgian Wales, 6 a.m. in Greece. Well, it's now 7:30 a.m. in Greece. Paratarian Houston, looks like he would knock on my door at 6 p.m. and just wants to provide me with the highest quality Jehovah's Witness literature. Sometimes sommelier. During MOASS, how will we know the price will continue to go higher? In other words, how will we know when to sell? We won't. My guess is there's 4 billion plus naked shares out there. And so when we feel like the trading computer's on and the dark pools aren't really doing the job anymore, I guess we look at the volume and see when 4 or so billion shares have gone through. I mean, if you get so greedy that you never sell, and then the trading computers buy all they need, and the price goes, well, then that's that. But we don't know. We won't know for sure until it happens. We don't know how many naked shares there are. We know that there's that gigantic swap. And that gigantic swap might be all GME. It might be a basket of things related to the XRT basket. Yeah, we won't know. But the fact that a short squeeze on, was it Reading Railroad in 1904 or whatever, went to $1,000 back then, and the government had to step in. Like, that's equivalent of about $75,000 today for a short squeeze. So we know that stuff can happen. We just didn't have market makers back then like we do today. So who knows what will happen with that. Will ECB cut rates? I don't think we're going to see any rate cuts anytime soon. Like Force say U3 barf. Yeah, U3 barf. Rainy Dang, do you think shorts are using Nvidia as collateral? Hell yes. Like, they're using all the blue chips as collateral, and Nvidia right now is the king of running blue chips. Steven, how many options do you guess Roaring Kitty will end up exercising given his cash? All of them. Cook the Capo's got the Martinellis ready. Red Lightsaber, living in a hotel for the next week because I have an endless stream of issues buying, selling my house. MOASS would be nice. Hope it's a nice hotel. Hopefully you can like go to a spa and get a massage and sit in a pool. And it's not like a Motel 8 where like you got to make sure you have all the bolts done because the pimp's going to confuse your room for his room and whatnot. Green Crown, I'm unhinged. Zoobs is here. 4ZZ9, Houston, hypothetically, if I had 1,500, would you do calls or buy shares? If calls, what level hypothetically? Well, it depends on how many shares you have, right? Like, I have my share goal. I have been buying more shares with what's left over when I do an options play. But it's like, 5 shares here, 6 shares there. If you have like a number of shares you're comfortable with, and you feel like doing what I'm doing, which is playing options for the hope of at least making enough to retire if they do something fishy with our ability to sell shares at some point, then join me. If not, just be safe. get more shares, load up. Because why not? Mr. Monaco, Pog. Okay. Scott, hey, so June 21st is the Leaps expiration, right? Would there be some craziness to ensure that week and to ensue that week? So the 28th call expiration would be a good choice. That's what I'm shooting for is 28th. Break Force Witch Weirdos. There's a lot of them. Take your pick. Matthew Jackson. So with a call option, if you sell to close, it will use the money from the call to purchase shares at the strike price. Yes. So basically they sell off a chunk of shares and enough to buy the rest of the shares. So like, let's say the price goes to, the price goes to $2,000, right? And Roaring Kitty exercises his options. They would sell one share of that call option for $2,000, and then use that money to buy the other 99 shares in his contract. So he'd collect 99% of all of his contracts that way as shares. So that's basically what you do. Ape named Roscoe. They have synthetics. They do. Huge Unit. Happy birthday, Houston. Well, thank you, Huge Unit. Hopeful Pomelo 4488. What if Keith Gill just lets them expire in the money and E-Trade auto exercises? He might do that too, and E-Trade might go, oh shit. Yeah, so very possible. Treetop, I got 30s, but now I've seen that 128 strike. I have to buy one just to say I did. Yeah. The 128 strikes, like I wish I had on Friday. On Friday I bought some 30s, a 40, a 55, and an 80, I think, or a couple of 55s and an 80, whatever it was. Can't remember the exact mashup. And when it was at like $700 on Friday total, and then Monday it jumped to like 10 grand. Sold everything. Yeah. And but I looked at the 128s, and because implied volatility was so insane, the 128s at close on Friday were $19 a contract, and they went up to over $400 a contract. And I was like, I would have made like $100,000 if I had just bought nothing but 128s. Man, and that would have been plenty to meet my goal of how many contracts I want to have. Bummer. That's what happens. Sometimes you go, oh man, I should have done it one way. But I have more now than I started with, and that's all that matters. Dude, this cat. Seriously, dude, make up your mind. In or out? Indeed. Yeah, come on. Come on, you dumb moron. Yeah, come here. If you're gonna come in here, you might as well come up here and everyone can see your giant butt. Okay. There we go. Cattail karaoke. Okay. Ludicrous Speed. I doubt the powers that be can pull anything on GME and BBY. There are billionaires involved who have too many connections. That is also true. There are whales on our side who are very rich and going, I can make some money off of this. Screw those short hedge funds. There's probably whales who are pissed at Citadel because Citadel is losing them money. Or another hedge fund had to take their money out, and they're like, I'm getting on this. Because there are whales spending millions of dollars on options contracts in just single purchases, and we're seeing that line up. Let's go back to the options chain. Let's look at the 21st here. Come on, let's just see what's been building here. So we get up to I did do June 21st, right? Yeah, June 21st. We got 20. Oh, dang it, they took away the stupid open interest. Why does Yahoo do that? The open interest was there a second ago, right? Go back. The 7th. There's open interest for the 7th. We have all the open interest for the 7th. Now give me the open interest for the 21st. And it's gone. Son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. But you can see at 30, a whole bunch of transactions were happening. You can see We got big buys at $100. We got big buys at 125. We got big buys at 50. We have big buys at 40. There are whales in this thing. There's lots of transactions going on at all these different levels. People are buying in. I just can't see the total open interest because for some reason Yahoo just selectively stops that number from being seen by anybody at just a random time of the evening. And it's really annoying because Yahoo is the only one that has a coherent chart compared to everyone else. Cat, shut up. You just yelled to come in here. You can't yell to get out. That's just not how it works. So chill, baby. Okay. Righty dang. Will they suspend indefinitely on GME with some kind of reasons such as protecting retail market manipulation? They can try, but again, murder. Michael Patrick, I believe Keith Gill stuck around for the rest of us. He could have left any time with plenty of money. I think Keith Gill, A, yes, wants to stick around for the rest of us, and B, wants to ensure that these short hedge funds can never do what they've been doing ever again. He wants to blow up the system so badly that they have to actually address the problem of naked short selling and just how many of these hedge funds exist. There are too many wolves, not enough deer in the forest. And some of these wolves have got to go. They're going to starve to death. They're going to get mange or distemper, and they just got to go. And we got to let some of the deers flourish again. Ape named Roscoe, Nvidia about to get smoked? Maybe. Ziggy780, if they have no money, who settles us? Treasury machines go brrr. That's who settles. False flags. Do you think any of these rich short hedgies will ever pull personal money out of safety and try and save themselves? No, never. Not a one. All their cash is in the Caymans and will never see the light of day. They will let their hedge funds fail and all their billionaire clients just lose their money. And then they'll spend the rest of their lives like, what was that guy's name? Lafitte or whatever in Casino Royale. Like, the dude took all these money from like warlords and then he went to a card tournament and bet it all on his card playing abilities and then lost it and then got executed by those same warlords for losing all their money. That's what's going to happen to a lot of these hedge funds. A lot of these hedge fund clients are not good people. They are warlords, they're drug dealers, cartel members, they're despots, they're mafia, right? And if these things get vaporized, they're going to be like, hey, Chad Chaddington III, you're managing my money for me and it's all gone. And Chad Chaddington's like, yeah, bro, it's gone. Like, I don't think you understand. I have MiGs and private armies. Chad, you're gonna find that money for me. And Chad's gonna be like, oh, so they're gonna have to go hide. They're gonna run away. They're gonna hide. They're a lot of those fund managers, I think, are gonna be in deep doo-doo. And you'll start to see them, washing up on shore, dismembered in a suitcase, like we did when weird crypto things were happening. Like when the crypto market crashed a couple years ago, a whole bunch of crypto guys were murdered. Why? Because I think they were running crypto hedge funds and laundering money for cartels, for warlords, for despots, for the mafia. And they lost all that money for them. And they came and they just chopped their arms and legs off and stuffed them into a suitcase and dropped them in the harbor. So that type of thing is going to happen to these hedge fund dudes too. These hedge funds and institutions got their start from the mafia. The mafia, they started when the mafia began. They were doing protection rackets and smuggling booze and whatnot. But then they built up a whole bunch of cash and they had to do something with that cash. So, their grandkid went to Harvard Business School, got a finance degree, and got a job on Wall Street and started putting this money to work, right? And once you put enough this money to work, you don't have to do protection rackets anymore. You don't have to have drug dealers on the street. You don't have to do any of that. You now have all your money in the market making way more than you ever did as like goons, right? And so the lineage of all of these big hedge funds institutions started with like crime families doing crime. And now they're legit wealthy people. The Kennedys, who were bootleggers and booze runners, they're just a legit old money family from, you know, Cape Cod. They're like, oh, look at the Kennedys. Oh, how dignified they are. 100 years ago, they were bootleggers. So it's not too different than seeing like someone from the Gambino crime family. Their great grandchild is now a hedge fund manager in Wall Street. Because what are you going to do with all that cash when you have it? What do you think? What do you think William the Conqueror and all his folks did when they ran roughshod over England and stole everything? They became dukes and lords, and they set up you know, the feudal system that they had, and they were just organized crime in shining armor. That's all they were. They weren't any different than any of the conquistadors or anyone else. So, you know, that's, yeah. Ace Ventura, first time listener, do you think Donald Trump is better than Jesus Christ? Also, could you explain the universe, please? No. And yes, I could explain the universe. How about that? Mike C, by 8 contracts, $100 strike, figure why not? Why not? Triple Lind, can you explain again what happens in 2 weeks? Well, in 2 weeks, DFV exercises his options, and they got to find 17 million of them. It's pretty simple. Mike C, all my calls expire in 6/21, but I probably roll quite a few to the week after. That's probably a good idea. Raven, please remain seated. Faster seatbelt. Oh my God, I'm so far behind the chat. I am an hour and 24 minutes behind. Oh, sorry, 28 minutes behind. I am not going to get all these chats. I do not have the calories inside of me to make it that far. I got 18 minutes in me. So if you want your stuff answered, you got to turn it green, yellow, red, whatever. So I see it. But I'm just going to keep going through the line here. Mike C says $50 feels like a lock. $100 seems like a realistic target. $500 seems crazy but possible. I agree with you, Mark C. Matt Boosted, June 11th is also my half birthday. Fantastic. Watt DC is already reporting. There's no difference at this point. Well, reporting to like through 13Gs and 13Fs and all that stuff. I think 13G is what I do if you do a trade that's worth over $20 million. And 13F is when you have 10% or more in a company. Is that right? Something clicked. Is my camera blinking again? Is that what's happening? Slap at the base. Nokia has been pretty sexy. I'm still pumped for MOASS. Is Nokia doing things? I have not looked at Nokia in a while. Nokia share price. Oh, it did some little jumps today. What's been happening over the last 6 months for Nokia? It's been a steady climbing. It was down $3. It's almost a 4 over the last 6 months. Where did it bottom out? Bottomed out at 310. That's been a steady $3 stock through $3+ stock for the last year. That was a January one. Yeah, January pushed up to. Oh, hush. Oh, hush. That's just the roommate coming home. Ding dong. Does it every night this time. Every single night this time. This exact time. He opens that door and he closes it. You know that. It's very rare. You never get a bark out of her. It's so rare. It has to be treasured. Oh, are you a guard dog suddenly? Are you a guard dog suddenly? Do you need to go get him? You want to go get him? You want to go get him? Go get him, monkey. Go get him. Yeah, go get him. If you're gonna be a barky guard dog, you gotta go get him. You can't just come back in here. Go get him. Go get him. Go. No, you don't want to go get him. You just want to bark. Okay. All right. Treetop. Oh yeah, those shares at the top in the day. You notice that? I couldn't help myself. I needed 500,000 shares for my portfolio to diversify. Top of the base. I wonder how basket stuff will go. That way as well. Fabrizio, MOASS is cool, but how to remove the microplastics from my balls? Just a lot of hard work. You got to pump them out of there. And our friend, sup HW, aloha from Oahu. What's your thoughts on Citadel BlackRock exchange proposed for Texas? That's what I think. Gary Golathon, not an options guy here, but what's the difference if he exercises this Friday compared to 21st? It'd be a slap across the face and would be a surprising big boom bang. That's what would happen. Chad Moore, have you heard the song "Watch the World Churn"? If not, check it out. Watch the World Burn. If not, so check it out. Oh yeah, all I want to do is watch the world burn. Yeah, Marco Patrick. Oh crap, Marco Patrick, you just vanished here. Did I do that one? That was Belgian Whale. Got that one. Mark Kilpatrick. It's somewhere back around 8:20 p.m. 8:20. Mark Kilpatrick. There we go. Oh, nope, that's a different one. Wrong Mark Kilpatrick one. Oh, no, that was the right one. Mark Kilpatrick has the amount of GME shares that have been DRS created more liquidity problems for the market makers. So far, no, because they just naked short. So I don't think it's caused any liquidity problems at that point. Jesse, everybody should boycott E-Trade. I agree. Copy and paste is here. Mike C. We don't even know if E-Trade legit threatened RK. It could be BS. Well, E-Trade needs to come out and clarify because everyone thinks they are, and that's not what the type of PR you want. Kelly Reed, I got a tingling feeling that this rocket will go up and not come back down. So much weird stuff from regulators going after DFE instead of criminals, Citadel, and gang. Just wait till you hear what GME has in store. I think they do have a lot of stuff in store. We got merge acquisition. We've got Wu-Tang. We've got DFV. We got everybody hyped and all of the short hedge funds freaking out on television in front of us. June's gonna be June might be the best month of almost all of your lives. That's what I think is gonna happen with June. Because I think it's gonna be probably the best month of all of your lives. And you're gonna look back on this month and go, man, that was a good month. For how much dog shit we've been eating for the last, I don't know, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. It'd be really, really nice to have a month where you're like, wow, the sky really is blue on some days. The grass really is green. The ice cream does taste better. Like, that's what I think June is going to become. And I really, really hope we all get to share in that. I'm Jack the Tits. Used to remember when SPY was around 460 and I told you reverse market crash, SPY goes to all-time highs and memes go boom boom. Well, here we are. I am Jack the Tits. Frozen State Productions. Can we have a provision post-MOASS that bankers that implode their bank get no bailout bonuses? Wall Street imploders never work on Wall Street again unless they're getting coffee for the new bosses. I agree. I can agree to that. Like if you were at the helm of a company that got vaporized because you made horrible decisions and were just awful at your job, you should not be allowed to work in that industry ever again. You should not be on the board of a company. You should basically be relegated to being an employee at a I don't know, a box store, a factory, a landscaping business. You know, one of those like unskilled jobs, because obviously you don't have the skills. So unskilled it is for you. You can go pick lettuce, right? You can go clean hotel rooms. But yeah, being a captain industry, no. A titan of finance, no, you're gone. Let's have a meritocracy is what I'm saying. Lord Dubs, hey, Houston, on the PP show, they were discussing how it would be a bad time to unveil GME's merger acquisition plans because all eyes are on DFE and supposed manipulation. Thoughts? I mean, DFE's not privy to that information, right? So, that, like, he's not an insider. He's not privy to the information, so it'd just be good timing for him at this point. And plus, they announced that they were planning on doing merger acquisition back in August in a 10K they filed in August last year. So they mentioned it 98 times in that 10K. So we know that there's a merger acquisition going on, that they got $2 billion. So only an idiot wouldn't think that there's gonna be some sort of merger acquisition. So no, I think it's fine. George Jorge Castro, I love me some green GME. Char's looking glorious and haircut's looking sharp. Thank you. And Ivan Simex is looking sharp as well. Styles, No Lab making small moves. Any info? Oh, yeah. Email went out from No Labs today. Oops. Where is it, No Labs? Oh, that's a lot of emails. No Labs, here we go. So, No Labs joins the Industrial Participant Program of the Weiss Institute for Biologically Inspired Engineering at Harvard. Okay. Weiss Institute at Harvard is a translational research institute developing disruptive innovation for healthcare and sustainability, powered by multidisciplinary bioengineering community. The Weiss DXA Industrial Participant Program serves as a collaboration hub between healthcare testing companies and the scientific and clinical community within the Weiss ecosystem. IPP members build relationships and explore pre-competitive collaboration opportunities, connect with thought leaders and subject matter experts, identify key opportunities and challenges within the industry, and align on a vision to transform the future of diagnostic and healthcare testing. This is all driven by the DXA's mission to accelerate the delivery of novel diagnostic technologies to patients with the goal of driving positive health care outcomes and reducing disease burden. As a member, No Labs will contribute experience in developing novel radio frequency dielectric sensor technology for broader medical diagnostic applications, and specifically for applications relating to non-invasive blood glucose monitoring for diabetes management. No Labs' extensive patent portfolio covers more than 100 medical and non-medical applications and over 300 patents issued, pending and in process. No Labs joins 19 existing Weiss DXA IPP members representing a range of diagnostically relevant disciplines to accelerate the development of market solutions that solve high-value, unmet, urgent clinical needs. It's an honor to participate in the Weiss Institute's ecosystem and join forces with the members of the Weiss DXA IPP, said Ron Erickson, CEO and chairman of No Labs. We look forward to making contributions regarding innovation in the diabetes field and worldwide disease prevention and management more broadly. No Labs will benefit from access to the Weiss DXA's community and collaborators as we work to bring first FDA-cleared non-invasive continuous glucose monitor to the market and champion the need for equitable care in diabetes management. To learn more, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, they made a little announcement that they're participating in this Harvard thing, and that's probably why that's a little positive news today, because it's a fancy pants Ivy League Hujima what's it. Okay, got 6 minutes. 6 minutes to go. And then Houston is going to lay down. And it's going to be glorious. Treetop, I'm tentatively planning on using GME gains to buy puts on SPY leaps, so they are safe. Eventually, it'll be right. I think if GME MOASS is the SPY goes, but yeah. A few rounds of AMC. Hola. Beyond the South, GameStop should merge with Walmart. Gaming section would be fun again. Well, I mean, Walmart is like one of the largest retailers in the entire world, so they would just gobble GME, and GME would cease to exist at that point. Zia 1111. Hope all's well, Houston. All is pretty darn good right now. He says, I think GameStop and Funko would be a good match. Funko is the little head dudes, right? Oh, Funko. Yeah, somebody gave me a couple Funkos. I got a Ruth Bader Ginsburg Funko and a Doc Brown Funko. I can't remember who gave them to me, but I've got two of them. Augie, not really good. Not a good look and feels yucky with you even mentioning the mental ones, if or more new crimes. Dude, it's true. There are really, 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 really unhinged people in this movement. And the fact that FINRA had everybody work from home out of fear that one of those unhinged people were going to get all of them, this is people's lives, right? These are people that have been crapped on their entire life. They have a glimmer of hope because they know this thing logically should short squeeze. And if there's some sort of step in by regulators, be like, no, we're not doing this. They're going to lose their minds. Like, I believe you never invest more than you're willing to lose. But some of these people are so desperate, they leverage themselves to the hilt to get as many of these shares as possible, to build this thing up as much as they can, because they know that this thing needs to squeeze. It needs to. It's way too overshorted. And if a normal market action, such as the risk of a short squeeze happens, which should happen, which has happened in the past and will happen in the future, but on this one particular time, the regulators go, no, game over, not happening. Then what's the point? What's the point of the entire system? It's going to be their thought. And it's not going to produce good results. It's going to produce really negative, really bad results. And there's nothing that anyone could, no one's gonna be able to stop them from acting out. They're going to be lone wolf weirdos. They're going to do horrible things. That's just what happens. People are desperate. We see it all the time when they're desperate. Babe Buckeye, I have a feeling DOJ is waiting on the sidelines. I think they also are waiting. I think DOJ has been aware of what's going on for the last 3.5 years. They've been doing investigations. Spike VT, people need to realize this thing is set up to make a measured move to 3,000. That would be fantastic for my call options. They would love going to $3,000. I mean, I would love to net $300,000 per call option. Wouldn't that be good, Monkey? $300,000 per call option? That'd be pretty sweet. If I had 100 of those, if I had 1,000 of those, that'd be pretty awesome. Right? Right? Right, Monkey? He's just staring at me as if I'm going to give another treat. You're not getting another treat, dog. Brian Collins is here. KTDB here is here. What do you think Gil's waiting for? The right moment? A good song come on the air? Whatever he's got, man. KCB used to self-check, got water. We're running low. I got 2 minutes left. We're okay. Chopped cheese is here. Spike VT, what do you think of the theory DFE sells us 5 million shares to execute all his calls? Price for $40 would be enough. No. He keeps his shares. He exercises his calls because he got enough cash. That's what I think. Passing Cloud. Some more news was the guy yelling, "Sell your homes to who, Ben?" Yeah, okay, that's who it was. Some More News is a great channel, by the way. When is MOASS? Tomorrow. It's always tomorrow. It is true. Laza, Houston, HW. Time for puts on Nvidia or use all the firepower on GME alone? I'm focusing on GME at the moment with every red cent I can scrape together. I'm sure, let the thing rocket and then focus on Nvidia puts at a later date. Days later, whenever. Snowboard, welcome as a problem solver. Welcome, Snowboard. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard, Snowboard. Star Room studies. I missed part of the stream. I was having sex. Well, good for you. At least one of us is. Fearless AMC. Biden and Trump are like the guys from the movie Grumpy Old Men. Right? Just old guys, right, Monkey? You're an old lady though, so you can't be saying much. Even though you got young eyes, old lady. Vernok, you should change the title of this to Just According to Keikaku. Why do I know that name? Just According to Keikaku is a reference to fan sub of anime Death Note. Yeah, I'm not going to know that at all. Know your meme. Okay. Let's learn this meme here. Translator's note, Kikaku means plan, just according to plan. Ah, okay. I get it. All right. So I have never seen this before, so I wouldn't know that meme. But now I know that meme, so in the future when I see it, I'll know it. Leon Noel, who's this clean-shaven fellow? An imposter. Lizard people. Well, it's Saunders, Morning Pal. When DFE exercises options, will it cause MOASS? I think so. Meagle, Houston, I'm gay. Oh, cool. Pride Month. KCDB, hi Houston. What are we missing? What can still be done to stop this? U3 halts? No. Trading issues? Possibly. Halts? There'll be circuit breakers. False call triggers? Maybe. GME goes private? Nah. False Wall Street Journal articles? Definitely. Account hacks? Possibly. Trades unfulfilled? Likely. And AMC says Happy Pride Month, Meagle. NothX buy. ISO style means jail, no sell, no sell. Yes, it means jail, and it means not bailing out the banks, being like, well, that bank's gone. Oh well. And then you go fish cod for a while, and your economy rebuilds back up again. Justin Shackelford. I bought calls for the June 21st expiration. I'm worried that DFE waits till the last day, and then the run happens the following week. That's very possible, which is why I'm shooting for the 28th. I mean, you can make profit off your calls. You got plenty of time, I think, to swing trade them, and to roll over and get calls on the 28th if you want. Right now, my calls are all strikes for next week because I've been day trading them and working my way up to get more and more oomph. So that's what I've been doing. Okay, well, it's 10:02. I'll do one more, and then I'm running away. Since before, I got 25,000 for GME. What is the best buy? Shares or options? Half and half. Currently at XXX shares. I mean, if you can push yourself to 1,000 shares, so the stock price goes to 1,000, you're a millionaire, right? If you can get options that control 1,000 shares, which is 10 options, and this thing goes to $1,000, you're a millionaire. If you do both, you're $2 millionaire, right? So that's what I'm shooting for. I'm playing for, if this thing gets close to $400 or $500, I've got enough call options that would allow me to have enough options that could be a millionaire, even if they shut off the buy button and they do all those things. So that's kind of what I'm shooting for on that. All right, Monkey Butt, want to come up and high five? High five? Come on, give me a high five. But no, you don't want to give me a high five? Monkey Butt, high five. High five, Monkey. We gotta end the show. Come on, high five, high five, high five. Come on, high five, right there. Boom, there we go. All right. I don't know what she's like, looking for treats or something. I don't know. After dark, bam. Is this the creepy moon guy? That's me. That's me. That moon is me. All right. Deuces.